folks. This is Pastor Mike Hoggard, pastor of Bethel Church in Festus, Missouri, and head of prophetic research ministry with another Watchman video broadcast. I want to say right off the bat at the beginning of this broadcast, I've been married to my wife for 22 years. She has never hit me with a golf club. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about, got a lot more, and I don't want to seem like I keep beating this horse over the head, but we have a lot more things to deal with when it comes to the secret of Freemasonry, when it comes to the prophecy again in Daniel chapter 2 and other things. I have just got so many things I want to share with you today, but let's hit a couple of headlines first and we'll move right along. Sprint fed customer GPS data to cops over 8 million times. The article says a blogger has released audio of Sprint's electronic surveillance manager describing the carrier's cooperation with law enforcement. Among the revelations are that Sprint has so far filled over 8 million requests from LEOs for customer GPS data. Let me explain that to you in case you don't understand. I have in my hand here, this is my own personal identification badge. This is my GPS locator. Now, you say, well, that's just a cell phone, Pastor Mike. Exactly. Anybody who really needs to know can know exactly where I'm at right now. All they have to do is call, let's see, who's my provider? AT&T, and they can get a lockdown on my location within probably about 30 feet. So they know that I'm at our secret broadcasting compound at 1233 American Legion Drive, Festus, Missouri. They know that. And according to this article, this blogger has said that Sprint fulfilled 8 million requests by different law enforcement agencies wanting to know where somebody's at. You know, we can complain all we want to, but basically we're asking for it in this country. I mean, we know we got terrorists running around all over the place. We've got people who mean to do this country harm, and we have invited in a system in our society where not just the tyranny of those who might be in government who want to know everything about everybody. It's the mere fact that we are part of a society that opens ourselves up to people knowing. You know that your cell phone conversations are not private. Your emails are not private. Text messages are not private. When the Constitution guaranteed us a right to be secure in our papers and effects, it seems like we voluntarily give over our rights to that privacy when we make a cell phone call, when we get on the internet, and things like that. That's just part of the control mechanism that we're living in these days. I saw this coming, if you remember either the last broadcast or the one before that. I told you that there was a high school that had put on a musical, a gay musical at a high school. And I said at that time, and I'm no great grand prophet, but some of this stuff just makes sense. I said that probably before too long we would be seeing a church that would be depicting homosexuality in a positive light. We would be seeing a church putting on a play that would depict sodomy in a positive light. Here's a story from the Orange County Register, Orange County, California. Now I need to explain this. Orange County, California, probably one of the most wealthiest areas in the country, maybe even in the world, I don't know. But there's a lot of people there in Orange County with a lot of money, okay? Rick Warren's Saddleback Church is in Orange County, California. And so it doesn't surprise me. This is coming out of there. Anyway, Santa Ana, California, a play depicting Jesus as a gay man played to an appreciative audience in a packed church sanctuary tonight, while a handful of protesters outside called it blasphemous. It was the second showing of Corpus Christi in Orange County in about 2 years. The show sparked protest and bomb threats at its 1998 opening at the Manhattan Theater Club in New York. The play depicts Jesus as a gay man living in 1950s Corpus Christi, Texas, playwright Terrence McNally's hometown. The cast of 13 portrayed Jesus and the 12 disciples. The Church of the Foothills in Santa Ana received hate calls and letters in the past few days since media publicity of the performance. See, I'll just go ahead and jump in here. We saw this coming. We knew it was coming. Here is one church. There's going to be another church. Then there's going to be a whole string of churches led by some of the leaders now in the emerging church movement or the New Age church movement or the transformed church. The transformed church is going to openly accept basically any kind of sexual activity. Now, tomorrow morning, which today's Saturday, tomorrow morning, Sunday, I'm going to be preaching out of Ephesians chapter 5. And I'm going to deal with issues in our church. If you'd like to get a copy of that message, get in contact with us. If you're on our watchers list, you'll get that message automatically. But Ephesians chapter 5 sets the foundation for civil society, in my opinion, because it deals with the roles of marriage in the church, in society, in different areas like that. When marriage goes, when the sanctity of marriage goes, and what goes on between a man and a woman inside of a marriage, when that goes out, basically all bets are off. And so now we had television pushing this back 30, 40 years ago. We've had music pushing it. Now we've had politics pushing it. We've had Broadway plays pushing it. We've had socialists with agendas in our public schools pushing this. And now the pastors are going to be pushing that, it's okay to be gay. Anyway, I got some other things. Religious leader tells Planned Parenthood rally abortion a God-given right. During the rally yesterday, sponsored by the Planned Parenthood abortion business and other leading pro-abortion groups, Reverend Carlton Vesey told the small gathering of hardcore activists that abortion is a God-given right. Vesey is the head of the Religious Coalition for Reproductive Choice. The rally was a time for abortion advocates to rally together to press for taxpayer funding of abortions, and saw a small crowd of just a few hundred people compared to the 100,000 or more who attend the March of Life. Vesey was the closing speaker for the Stop Stupak rally, and he told the activists that they had more than merely a so-called constitutional right to an abortion. Don't let anybody tell you that religious people don't support choice, Vesey said. According to CNS News, you not only have a constitutional right for abortion, but you have a God-given right. It'd be great for me to get up behind my pulpit and tell everybody, yes, God wants you to kill your baby. Of course He does. I remember years ago being in Bible college, and we would come home Sunday night from church and come into our dormitories, and we would eat a late supper, and there would be two preachers that we would watch I had like one of the few televisions in the whole dorm, and everybody would come to my room and we would watch two preachers on TV Sunday night. One of them was Ernest Angley. Friends, may I have need of your attention? Heal! That was Ernest Angley. And then following him on the same channel, there was a United Methodist pastor in Oklahoma City. And this guy was as liberal as my left arm. I mean, he was out of it. And I remember him saying that he was saying the same thing, that he felt like the abortion was a God-given right, and people ought to have abortions. And who would dare make a child someone go through an unintended pregnancy? Oh, that would be terrible. That would be unscriptural to make someone do that. And I got so mad one time I wanted to throw my shoe through the television set. That was, 25 years ago, and today is today. And we're going to see a continued degradation in the morality of our churches across this country. Here's another one associated with that. You remember Reverend Ed Bacon. He is with the All Saints Church. So I guess he's a holy guy. But anyway, now remember, we've got a play in the church that depicts Jesus as a gay man. We've got protesters out on the street saying, God has given us a right to kill our baby. Why? I mean, surely we should kill our babies. Of course we need to kill our babies. And then we have Reverend Ed Bacon, who says being gay is a gift from God. And he said this on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and here's a YouTube clip. Take a look at it.
It is a gift from God. And particularly people who are marginalized and victimized in our culture. Gay and lesbian people are clearly outcasts in many areas of our life. And it is so important for them to understand that when God made them, God said, you are good. That is a gift. That is a blessing. That is the original blessing with which every one of us is made by God and loved by God.
Now, this guy is a member of, or the rector of All Saints Church. I can't remember where that was. Anyway, I went to their website and just kind of checked some things out, and something caught my eye on this thing. something about their website caught my eye. There it is, All Saints Church. They're down at the bottom of their website. You see it up on the screen. Is that their website, and I found out this is like a church donations service or an accounting service. It's called Convio. I want you to take a look at their logo. And what you see here is basically the all-seeing eye. You see an image or something that is related to the one-eyed God that Manly Hall talks about, which is the one-eyed Savior, which is the Antichrist. But I also want you to know the fusion of opposites here. You have two different colors. You have them sort of fused together like a square and a compass. I'm not making this up. This is what these are. Convio, I found out, is a company that runs donation services for churches. In other words, churches that really want to get into the big money and have the big money, the big donations coming in. They hire companies like this to bring that money in. Now, just kind of keep in mind here that we're talking about Daniel 2, we're talking about Genesis 6, we're talking about Revelation 13, we're talking about a mark in your right hand or in your forehead, like an all-seeing eye, like this little dot in your forehead. We're also talking about the ability to buy, sell, or transact it financially in some way. So here we have this accounting firm that runs donations for churches with this logo. Here's another one that's associated with that called Intact. Notice their logo, almost identical to the Convio logo. The sort of the all-seeing eye, the fusion of things that are opposite, the point within a circle and things like that. And all of these are images or symbols or icons of the Antichrist and of the secret of they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. And I think one of the things that I'm really wanting people to be aware of is to be aware of logos and symbols. Companies now, for some reason, are changing their logos. They're changing the symbolisms behind their company. And I have a lot of examples of that in this broadcast. You're going to be, hopefully you'll be very interested to see what I have to show you today. Here's one, and this was sent to us by our watchers. It's the Parliament of the World's Religions. Now, the person that sent it to me said that Rick Warren is going to be speaking at this event, December 3rd through 9th in Melbourne, Australia. Now, I could find no evidence that Rick Warren was speaking at this Parliament of World Religions. There are lots of other, this is one of these multi-religious gatherings. We all worship the same God. Let's just get along. You can expect to see, if you went to their website, you can expect to see all this garbage that's coming out of the religious world right now, including what used to be Christianity. How we all get along and celebrate our diversity and things like that. One of the things that caught my eye about this particular website is that it mentioned a removal of the patriarchal systems. Now, I know what that means. In studying the Da Vinci Code and studying, there was a book written by Margaret Starbird called The Woman in the Alabaster Box. And it was part of the basis for what Dan Brown was writing in the Da Vinci Code. And in this book, she talked about removal of the patriarchal systems in this world and letting the sacred feminine or the female side of us or the female side of the world sort of have more control. That spirit is what's behind the women's liberation movement back in the 70s in this country, if you remember that, and all of this stuff. But it is being led, when they talk about removing patriarchal systems, they're talking about removing God the Father as the one being in charge. If we were to go to the Scriptures, which we always should, we would go back in the Bible to the days of Ahab and Jezebel. You remember, Ahab wanted the vineyard that Naboth had. That vineyard represents salvation, represents his posterity, represents heaven. He wanted that vineyard that Naboth had, and he couldn't get it. Naboth said, I can't sell it to you, I can't give it to you. I have to keep it and give it to my children. Jezebel went about and said, I'll get it for you. So her nature, her role, Mystery Babylon the Great, her role is to turn authority over from one source to another. Naboth owned the vineyard. Jezebel said, I'll get it for Ahab. She didn't want the vineyard. She wanted Ahab to have it. She is the medium by which authority is transferred. So here the World Parliament of Religions gathers together and they say we need to remove all the patriarchal systems. What that means is we need to kick God off the throne, and we're going to be the conduit that puts Lucifer on the throne of God. Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. Here it is again. I'm looking at the Parliament of World Religions. I'm looking at their website. And lo and behold, I don't know if you remember from last week's broadcast, I showed you this symbol. Remember the LED tattoos that was on people's skin, and they showed this symbol. It's called the infinity symbol. It is a representation of the number 8. Let me go through this very quickly. The number 8 is an important number in the occult and in all the secret societies because the beast is the 8th and is of the 7. So the beast has an association with the number 8. This number or this symbol also has the idea, it's called the infinity symbol, because it basically represents the immortality of man or the godhood of man. And so you see in this symbol two things that are fused together, sort of like DNA. It is also a representation of what's called the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros, and it comes in different forms. I remember a movie back from my teenage years, back in the 80s, called The Never Ending Story. And the Never Ending Story book had this logo on this book of a snake eating, wrapping around and then eventually eating its own tail. Here's another version of it. Albert Pike explains this in Morals and Dogma. And he basically says that the mouth of the serpent represents the female. The tail of the serpent represents the male, and they are fused together. Sons of God, daughters of men. Daniel chapter 2, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. And so that's what that's all about. Somebody sent me this, Radically Obeying Christ. This is Radically Obeying Christ Ministries, Rock Ministries. And they had a sermon called X Marks Your Spot. Now I'm going to kind of move into some areas that deal with DNA and chromosomes and the mingling of mankind's seed. And what we're seeing right now is that we're seeing a tremendous push in the church realm, but in the spiritual realm in general. New Age movement, all the religions and junk like that. We're seeing in the political realm. This is why I don't trust the health care bill that's before Congress. I don't know what's in it, but I don't trust it because I think it's going to eventually lead to people getting a mark on the right hand or forehead. But anyway, when you start seeing logos and symbols and church things talking about DNA or the letter X or things, remember the letter X is a form of the cross, but it is also a representation of your X chromosome. Your chromosomes are where your DNA is stored. And so here's a ministry talking about X marks your spot. Each of us has an X marking our place in God's kingdom. So I want you to think about this. If the plan is for these gods to mingle themselves with the seed of men, you start listening to what's coming out of some of these churches. Sermon series talking about the extreme church. They start talking about DNA. We're going to see examples where they're talking about God's DNA or divine DNA. And this stuff is, I'm telling you, this stuff is really scary. I have never, in all these years of being in this ministry, been a date setter, and I'm still not. But I think we're moving pretty fast in this world, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with. But anyway, each of us has an X marking our place in God's kingdom. When you see churches that are called Center Point or Cross Point Church, that's what that means. The center of the X chromosome where the DNA is stored in the human cell. The center point of a cell is where your DNA is. And that's what the phrase center point or cross point refers to. It refers to the center of your being where the God consciousness is going to come out of you. Anyway, the other part of their website, the Radically Obeying Christ Ministries, here you have, if you look on the right-hand side, they have a thing called Get Connected. I want you to notice here, you have a cross in the center of that. You have these 4 arrows pointing into the center point of this. And these phrases, get connected. Listen to these preachers now. Listen for your preacher. If he starts using some of this language about how we need to connect with God or come get connected with our church, connect into this, connect into that. The connection here is Daniel chapter 2. Here is men, here is gods, and they are going to connect together. That's what that references. This connected church has a children's ministry called Elevate. This is evolution. We've used this in other Watchman videos and other videos that we've done out of our ministry. This phrase, elevate, basically means to bring man to a new level or a higher level. That is the theory of evolution, or the spirit of evolution, that mankind is going to get connected one of these days in his X chromosome and be elevated to the position of God. What really caught my eye about this was the lesson that they're teaching. Notice, journey below the earth. See, maybe I read too much. I don't think I'm reading anything into this, because I think that there is a gigantic, massive conspiracy amongst the publishing companies to keep putting forth these ideas to church people to transfer the authority of the church from God to Lucifer. I believe that with all my heart, because that's what the Bible says. And so this phrase, journey below the earth, I want you to think about this. Masons believe in a lost word. It's the Antichrist. This lost word is buried underground somewhere. That's because the Bible says the beast is in the pit right now. And this whole thing about all the esoteric mystery religions and what's being infused into the church, and remember I said that word infused, is the idea that there is a secret that's hidden underground. Remember a national treasure. There is a secret hidden, buried deep within, and we need to go down there and explore that and come out with this treasure. You're going to see that in a lot of vacation Bible school stuff. You're going to see it in Sunday school literature. I'm just telling you to keep your eyes open for stuff like this. Here's one called Covenant Church, sharing God's love, caring for you. They have a sermon series called DNA Analysis. The pastor says that if you have been saved by the blood of Jesus Christ, your spiritual DNA has been changed. Now, this is not biblical. I don't see anything in the Bible where it says anything about that. This to me, and I've used this phrase before, and I want you to get a hold of this, it's a setup. Okay? It would be like if I came to you and I was going to play a trick on you. What I have to do to play a trick or to play a joke on you, or like, like a knock-knock joke. Knock-knock, who's there? And then what I'm doing is I'm setting you up for the joke. Magicians, I've studied magicians before. Magicians set people up. They set people up to look here or to have their focus here while they do their prestidigitation down here. In the religious realm, in the world today, there are set-up ideas. There are set-up doctrines. Too many for me to enumerate on this broadcast, but over time we wish to, is to show you the set-up doctrines. This particular here, when pastors start talking about God changing your DNA, or your DNA being the source, or you having God's DNA, that's a setup. It is getting everybody prepared. Jezebel is bringing everybody in so that the authority of God's church can be transferred from God over to Lucifer. Here is a company called worshipfacilities.com. They specialize in building some of these new church buildings that are coming out. Churches that don't look like churches anymore. They look like stadiums, or they look like entertainment centers. They look like movie theaters. They look like everything but what a church looks like. And this company focuses on building these new buildings for the new church. On their website, it just blew me away. Here it says, Discovering Your DNA. Various tools such as the Reveal Spiritual Life Survey, designed by, here it is, Willow Creek Community Church, are available to help you identify your church's unique spiritual DNA. Willow Creek Community Church. That is Bill Hybels' church, I believe, up in Chicago. Or is that Rick Warren's? I'm confused. Anyway, they will help you find out your church's spiritual DNA. Once you've defined your DNA, it's equally important to put it in print. You can't guarantee it's reproducible until you put it in print. Put it in your membership packets and all this stuff. So they start talking about how basically the church building is going to be identified with the spirit that is in that church. And they're talking about discovering your DNA. Here's another church called 757 Life. I don't get what that means. But anyway, here's an article that they wrote called What is Our DNA? Which they call Divine Nature Assignment. Get this. Think about what they're saying. Divine nature. Gnosticism teaches that everyone has a divine spark inside of them, and that through certain rituals or practices, that spark can erupt into full-blown godhood. That's what they're referring to when they're talking about DNA or divine nature assignment. Here's a book called Church Turned Inside Out, a guide for designers, refiners, and realigners. In other words, another book coming out that is going to reshape the church. Remember, I want you to get this. Humans are humans because our DNA says we're humans. The form that I have on the outside of me and on the inside of me is determined by my DNA. You change my DNA, you will change my form. Similar to what happened to Nebuchadnezzar. Something happened to him, and for 7 years, this guy was an animal walking around. A beast, get it? A beast heart was given to him for 7 years. I think that's prophetic. The DNA of the church is the Holy Scriptures. We talked about that in several of our videos. The DNA, what makes the church is the Holy Scriptures. If this book is defiled and it's different somehow, then the church is going to be different. And so you see all these things about transforming the church. So here's a book called Church Turned Inside Out. And you can preview this on Google Books. Here it is, they're talking about DNA, relational DNA, and the transformation of a church based upon changing the church's inner DNA. Here is a clip that somebody brought to my attention, and it is actually a movie trailer found on YouTube. That is the movie trailer to this movie that came out as part of the X-Men series. And I dealt with that in The Mother of All Secrets and The Secret of Solomon's Key. The X of the X-Men refers to the X chromosome where the DNA is stored. And the whole thing about the X-Men is that their DNA is different. So I want you to watch the latest movie that came out is called X-Men Origins. Supposedly, I haven't seen the movie, supposedly how they got their start. Here is just a brief part of the trailer, and I want you to watch this and see if the doodads don't go up down your back. Take a listen.
Mutation. It is the key to our evolution. It has enabled us to evolve from a single-celled organism into the dominant species on the planet. This process is slow, normally taking thousands and thousands of years. But every few hundred millennia, evolution leaps forward.
We are now seeing the beginnings of another stage of human evolution.
The truth is that mutants are very real, and they are among us. We must know who they are, and above all, what they can do.
We're not what you think, not all of us.
Who are you people?
What kind of place is this?
Did you get that? The time is coming when all that we are afraid of will be all that can save us. That's a setup. It is setting up through the entertainment industries. And remember, and I talk about this in let's see, what video is it? We do a video. We have a video on the Bible translation issue, and I quote from Elise Bailey, one of these old occultists from like 100 years ago. She was a student of Helena Blavatsky. And Elise Bailey said, the time is coming when informing everybody of the nature of the mysteries is of paramount importance. In other words, she was saying, we're getting into a time now when not just one or two people need to know the secret mysteries. We need to inform everybody of them. And so that's why we're seeing logos, we're seeing companies, we're seeing it in the church, we're seeing it in advertising, we're seeing it in movies, we're being indoctrinated by television shows, we're being indoctrinated by preachers and politicians to bring everybody to the mystery religion. And so here this X-Men thing coming out, telling everybody that secret powers or superpowers can be done by having your DNA changed somehow. And that change is going to take place. These gods who are the X-Men, the things that we fear the most, they're the ones that are going to save us. Somebody sent me this, and he lives down in Florida. So here it is, December. He's taking a picture of something that he sees in the store. I want you to notice his toes, his sandals. Today here in Festus, Missouri at our secret broadcast compound, it is 25 degrees outside. There is a 75% chance of snow coming in Tuesday or Wednesday with significant accumulation. I'm not wearing sandals, but he's wearing sandals down there in Florida. Anyway, and I saw this, and I wanted to take a picture of it, but he took a picture of it and sent it to me. You see it in logos. See it in advertising everywhere. Things like evolve or evolution or revolution. You'll see this everywhere. Here's another one he took. This is kind of fuzzy. The Dulcolax. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I really understand the association between being able to go to the bathroom and the New World Order. I don't get it. But if you notice there, the O in the Dulcolax is the yin-yang symbol. The yin-yang symbol is the fusion of the opposites, male and female, sons of God, daughters of men. They shall mingle themselves. The gods are going to mingle themselves with the seed of men. That is the yin-yang symbol. So it's all over the world. Why the Dulcolax is using, and I don't get it. But anyway, I saw this on television the other day, and I went to the website, Vaseline. Okay, here again. My mom used to put Vaseline on my lips when I was a kid, and I hated it. I used to walk around with my lips like this all the time because I didn't want to close my lips because I had Vaseline on my lips. I don't like that. So I don't get it. But it has nothing to do with products. It has everything to do with infusing ideas and images into your mind. So here, if you saw the TV commercial, you'll get it. Here, Vaseline has a new product called Sheer Infusion. Fusion is this being melded together with that. The fusion of opposites together, the square and the compass, okay? So here it is, Sheer Infusion, and it has a new chemical in it called Stratus 3. It's like the power of three things working together to give you healthy, beautiful skin, a radiant glow. Okay, 3 is the number for the triple helix. Here it is, Puff's Magic Lotion. What's all this skin stuff? Anyway, I saw this one, Puff's Magic Plus Lotion. If you've seen the TV commercial, you'll get it. Soothing lotion plus the magic of 3. Look at the logo that they're using. The triple helix, the triquetra, 3-strand DNA. Here is our 2-strand DNA represented by the scriptures. They're going to take, let's see here. Let's pick on Dan Brown some more because I don't like him. Dan Brown says, we're going to add something to that. Joseph Smith says, we're going to add the Book of Mormon to the Word of God. That's 3-strand DNA, and that's what the triple helix represents, and that's what the triquetra represents. Here's and doing this, I caught on to this saying where it says the magic of 3, and I'm going, I've heard that before. Where have I heard that before? So I Googled that, and I don't know if you remember this, but when I was a kid, I used to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning, so I would not miss the first Saturday morning cartoon. I mean, that's how I was. And so I'm watching cartoons, and back during the 70s, these educational people decided the kids are rotting their brain watching cartoons. So let's put a cartoon on TV that won't rot their brain. So it was called Schoolhouse Rock, and they were taking ideas and principles from education and writing songs about them, making cartoons about them, putting them on. They were about 3 minutes long. Here's one, and I remembered this when I saw it. It's the song called 3 is a Magic Number. And I want you to listen to the lyrics of this thing. 3 is a magic number. Okay, you get that? Yes, it is. It's a magic number. Listen to this. Somewhere in the ancient mystic Trinity, you get 3 as a magic number. The past, the present, and the future, faith, hope, and charity. Freemasons use those concepts, faith, hope, and charity, as a disguise for the number 3 or 3-strand DNA. The heart and the brain and the body give you 3 as a magic number. And then this is what they say. A man and a woman had a little baby. Yes, they did. They had 3 in the family, and that's a magic number. Now, get this whole concept. Here you have the sons of God, the daughters of men. That's 2. They come together and they have a child. Genesis chapter 6 tells you exactly that thing. That they gave birth to offspring that were mighty men of old, men of renown. These were magical people. Every tradition in the world has the idea that the gods mated with human women and produced children. In our video, Capital Secrets, we show the street layout of Washington, D.C. Mirrors exactly this concept of the Pythagorean triangle where A squared plus B squared equals C squared, and that represents Osiris, the sun god, mating with Isis, the goddess, the sacred feminine, and producing Horus, their magical child. And now, when I was naturally when I was 7 years old, I didn't go, oh, that's a picture of the Antichrist. Well, I'm 43 now, and I think I get it. Here is another one. And remember the concept of marketing and advertising. And so here's a marketing guy writing an article about the magic number 3. And essentially, and I won't go into this for time's sake, and you can Google this if you want to, but he basically says what really works in advertising is when you use 3 of something, when you have orders of 3, and he used phrases like lights, camera, action, ready, aim, fire, on your mark, get set, go. We have in us this pattern of 3. The reason why, there's 2 reasons why. Number 1, because we consist of spirit, soul, and body, because we're made in God's image. Okay? But also, and naturally, you have God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. The other part of that is, in our corrupted nature, we have lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. It was in Genesis chapter 3 that those things came out in us, Eve being a partaker of that, Adam her husband, and so now we are all have that little pattern inside of us. And that same pattern, that number, is going to lead us to the Antichrist. Here it is, another. There's a TV show called Charmed, and if you remember, their symbol is the triquetra. The Charmed logo has everything to do with what they call the power of 3. In fact, that phrase is associated with Charmed. Here it is, these 3 witches, the sacred feminine, Mystery Babylon the Great. Remember, she is going to transfer authority over from the patriarchal system, God, over to Lucifer in the last days. Here's one that caught my eye. This is, and here again, has nothing to do with, really what it is, because I like Frito chips. I love corn chips. I like those great big ones. I like the ones that have chili cheese. I like chili cheese Fritos and a peanut butter sandwich and a glass of milk. I am in heaven when I have that stuff. So I love corn. I like corn chips and bean dip. I could eat that all day long. But here's the advertisement on Frito-Lay's website called The Power of 3. Says, did you know that many of your favorite snacks are made with just 3 simple ingredients, corn, salt, and oil? Now, let me just say this. Corn, and I explained this in our new videos, the secret of Freemason, boy, I tell you what, Freemason symbols revealed, and what's the other one? Capital Secrets, and so on. 3 videos. That's interesting. But anyway, corn is a symbol for the Antichrist. Why? 1 Corinthians 15 tells you that you take a seed and you bury it in the ground, and it's going to rise up again. Okay, so that's number 1, a picture of our resurrection. But number 2, it's a picture of the Antichrist. The Antichrist right now is buried underground. And so that's why corn is a symbol for the Antichrist, because he is going to rise up again and dominate the planet. Here's another one. Let's see, where was this one from? This is from one of these environmental companies that's going to make $1 billion off of cap and trade and off of this Copenhagen Agreement. They talk about the power of 3, hydrogen, bacteria, and biological waste. And these are going to help Mother Earth. They're going to save the planet. The power of 3. Here's another one. I tell you what, I got it when I saw this one, because I had just taught this in Freemason Symbols Revealed and Capital Secrets. Manly Hall, and I was talking about the pentagram, the symbol of the pentagram, 5-pointed star. And there's many things that go along with that. But here's how Manly Hall described the pentagram. He said the pentagram is basically the 4 things, like the 4 elements: earth, wind, which are opposites; fire and water, which are opposites. You have the 4 elements, and I'll tell you, the 4 elements represent, number 1, the 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They're a perversion of that. And the 4 elements of earth, wind, fire, and water represent man's DNA, the base pairs, adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. Okay, this is how God designed it. Remember, God designed the 4 base pairs to be a picture of the 4 Gospels. It's what locks the DNA together, what holds it all together. And so anyway, Manly Hall talks about in the symbol of the pentagram, he said you have the 4 elements, but there's a 5th element. It's called ether, or the spirit realm. And get this, now you have these 4 base pairs, and then something is added to them to make a pentagram, which is, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. And so you have ether, or the spirit world, being added to the 4. So I theorized that I think that means that a fifth base pair is going to be added to the 4 that we already have. A third strand being added to 2-strand DNA. Lo and behold, Bioed Online, here's an article. DNA gets a fake fifth base. And this article talks about adding a fifth base pair that connects to itself into the DNA strand to straighten our DNA up, to make it better, to fix all the problems that are in it. Wow. I think I was right on this. Or I think God was right on it. Anyway, about done here. Let me see here. Yeah, about done. Here's the last thing I want to show you today, and then I'll let you go. This is a video. Here's the group is Humanity Healing. Notice their logo. Their logo is a hexagon, or the seal of Solomon. Some say it's the Star of David. I don't think it has anything to do with God's Israel. I don't think it does. I think that is. I don't understand it, but I don't think it does. But anyway, the seal of David, or the seal of Solomon, is a hexagram, and it has a triangle pointed downward fused with a triangle pointed upward. That's easy. That's the sons of God mingled with the daughters of men. Anyway, I'm going to show you parts of this video clip, and then we're going to close out. And I want you to catch something. They're going to start talking about this video from a New Age company is talking about angelic humans. Humans that have already been mingled with angels. And I want you to notice what they say. I want you to take a look at this. Put it up on the screen again. Angelic humans have 3 strands of DNA fully activated in opposition of a pure human being DNA which have just 2 helix fully activated. I think that we're approaching some very, very dangerous, dark days. Now, the question I want to ask you is, are you born again? Are you saved? If you're saved, and if you love the Lord and you believe the Bible, and you'll just accept it, then you'll get this stuff. And you'll say, you know what? That's not for me. Whatever happens to this body, happens to this body. You know what? And I'll be honest with you, I don't like skin creams and hand lotions and Vaseline and all that stuff. I mean, if you do, that's fine, but So if you ever shake my hand, you'll never get lotion that you're going to wipe on, okay? But anyway, I try to take care of my body to some extent. I'm on the treadmill every day. Let me throw this in here real quick. In our Watchman Bible study last week, I erroneously told everybody that I was going to be in Greenville, South Carolina. not. I'm going to be in Lexington, South Carolina at Calvary Baptist Church, January the 7th, I believe. That would be a Thursday. We're going to try to put we are going to put the details up on our blog, so you'll know. I would look forward to meeting you there. I'd like to see a packed house there, not for my sake, but just for the message sake. We are going to film that and make a very special DVD, probably 3 DVDs. But anyway, I'm going to be preaching all day long from like 9 o'clock in the morning to like, I don't know, 7, I don't know when I'm going to get done. And I'm sitting there thinking about that, and I'm going, Mike, you are way out of shape. And so I've been on the treadmill every day, trying to build myself up a little bit so I can handle this. It's okay to take care of your body. It's okay to try to watch what you eat. It's okay. But remember, this body's going to pass away one of these days. It's going to give way to a new one. That's what I want more than anything. So when they start talking about health and health this and how you can have a better body and a better you, be very, very careful of this stuff. Don't fall for it. Don't go for it. People have been lied to. Don't believe some of the stuff that's coming out. Stand strong in these last days. Stand for this Bible. Stand for the faith that we have. Inform yourself. The reason why I give you all this stuff is I want you to be able to see what's going on. I want you to be able to see that the plan is active and it's moving forward right now at a very, very rapid pace. With God's help, this coming year, I probably will do a video on 2012. No, I don't think the rapture is going to be in 2012. But I'm going to do a video on it because there is a conspiracy going on about that. And I want to bring you the facts. I want to bring you the right information based upon the Word of God. Anyway, our watchers list is going out next week. Come rain or snow, we're going to try to get it sent out next week. If you're not on our list, just send us an email or give us a call or write us a letter. Say, Pastor Mike, please put me on the list. We're sending out the 3 newest videos that we have based upon Dan Brown's book, The Lost Symbol. 6 hours of information in these videos. It's just jam-packed in there. And I like to do videos where I give you so much information you have to go back and watch it all over again. And that's what I like to do. And so get on our list and you'll get these videos. Just like I say, just all we ask is a monthly donation of any amount. We've never turned anybody down yet because they couldn't give the required amount. People help us out and we appreciate. I want to say I appreciate everything that everybody does for our ministry. I can tell you that I'm way below being worthy of it. I'm not worthy of it. But I am thankful of it. I'm thankful for those who pray for my family and our church. And just pray, more importantly, that we get to keep doing here what we believe God has told us to do. Whether you support us financially or not is immaterial. When we started this thing, we didn't have any money, and we weren't doing it for money, and we're still not. And so, but I tell you what, we're sending out a lot of packages this month. And if you can help us out, it would be greatly appreciated. We love you, and we'll see you in the next Pure Bible study coming out next week. And I might even have some fresh snow for you sometime next week. This is Pastor Mike. I love you. God bless you. Bye-bye.